Hey world, it's me Antonio,
My name is Ryan Still.
and this is once again Off the Shelf, the show about comic books where we're going to talk about the industry, talk about comics that are going on right now, ones that are also in the past, and things that we're seeing that are coming up that we're definitely taking a good look at. This time of year is a great time because it's comic book convention, and we've been to a couple of comic book conventions in our time, yes.
Still trying to get out to San Diego.
Yes.
If
So,
you guys want to fund that,
kickstart that, possibly. Alright. Next weekend, I believe, is San Diego Comic Con.
yes, San Diego.
Which is where Comic Cons really started and where they really just were born. And it's still one of the biggest ones out there, and it's where, like I was saying, they were all just coming from.
I know. I think IGN does coverage for them. I'm pretty sure every time I go on IGN, they have coverage for it. I think G4 does it.
G4 used to. They're Esquire now, so that's a little.
They're a little above that now.
Yeah, that's not their type of thing right now. RIP G4. And it's a great thing. I've been seeing a lot of posts online about who's going to be at Comic Con. I wish I could go. I'm definitely excited about what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're going to be filming a lot of the stuff. I would love, some of the panels I've heard about are going to be amazing. Like there's going to be a milestone 20th anniversary
I hope that was publicly known.
It is now. And I think that would be great. Unfortunately, one of the more known members of the milestone group, Mr. Dwayne McDuffie, the maestro.
Yes. There's a great dedication to him at the end of Justice League Doom. If you got the Blu-ray, by the way,
I was actually watching Justice League Doom today, and when I saw his name come up there on the credits in the beginning, I was like, yeah. It was one of the reasons why I actually bought the movie, just because I knew that it was one of the last things that he had worked on. And to see at the end when they actually say in loving memory of Dwayne McDuffie, it was definitely a very touchable. Every time I still see his name up in print, or when I watch one of his animated films, it still hits me a little bit, and it's almost like, definitely a great individual. I never met him personally, obviously. I don't want to speak as if I knew him personally, but just seeing his work and just watching old interviews of him from YouTube and seeing the love and just the admiration that he got from a lot of people in the business is just really, it really goes to show his strength of character and his strength in his abilities as well. And even now, today, they were so forward thinking, where some companies are still trying to catch up to them now.
Seriously.
Sadly. Strides are being made, but they're not very big strides, unfortunately, and they're very late.
I'm hoping they do something special for this anniversary in San Diego, though. I'm hoping they come out with some announcements, some resurgence, something, because I would love to see more from them.
Honestly, I think just them getting together is a special thing, but there are legacies of Milestone, I guess is the way to say it. People that have been influenced, us ourselves.
Yeah.
People that have been influenced that are still carrying on or trying to carry on the tradition of Milestone, and just the amazing work that they've done. Whether there is a resurgence of them in the future, or whether we're just able to still look back and say the great work from Icon, Static, Shadow Cabinet, Blood Syndicate, Cobalt, Zombie, just amazing property, just amazing works of amazing projects. But that's one of the biggest things I would love to go to San Diego Comic Con this year for. Hopefully we'll be able to go to New York Comic Con.
If they send out them damn tickets.
Hopefully. And Asbury Park Comic Con should be starting in about 2 hours, because it seems like they have one every 47 minutes.
It's still a great time every time I'm going, but it is...
It's definitely cool because it's something we really don't have one here where we're at in New Jersey, and it's something that's not very far away. It's great, and we actually got to meet Jamal Igle, who is doing Molly Danger, which is going to be a great book. I actually got the free edition of that book for a free comic book day, and it was amazing. So that definitely was a great part of it.
If you guys are ever down in the Asbury area, and check out the con though, because from when I remember speaking to the guys who are running it, they were saying they're kind of hoping it could take off and become the next big thing. I mean, when we went this year, where was it? It was in the bowling alley, right?
That was actually last year. I know because they've had 3 annual ones within a year.
But it's starting off small. It was only a few dollars to get in, right?
It was about $5, but I mean, it was so much worth it to be able to support something that was local, to see all these indie creators, to be able to buy comics there.
We still had a bunch of people dressed up in costume.
Exactly.
I mean, it was a smaller version of the New York Con, basically.
Exactly.
And I'm hoping it grows and expands to become the next big thing where you got people flying in from other parts of the U.S. trying to go to the Asbury convention. That'd be cool.
Exactly. I mean, there are other Comic Cons I would love to go to. I would love to go to the Philly one.
Which I hear about every time we are in Valley.
Exactly. We hear so many great things about, but unfortunately, you can't go to every con. I mean, once I develop my teleporter, I will be at every con, buying up every product that I possibly can if it's not digital. But there's also the East Coast Con as well, where a lot of great indie guys are going, and you see a lot of diversity there, which is a great thing as well. Asbury Park is growing because I know that it was it actually moved from bowling alley, which was a great venue, very intimate, and after it's done, bowl a couple frames. It's cool. But they've actually gone to the I can't remember the name of the building where they have the concerts and such there. I can't remember the name of the building. It's a
I know what you're talking about.
They've
It's
actually
not Convention Hall?
Yes. So they've actually gone to a bigger venue. The tickets were a little more expensive as well. So that's to show that it is growing. I just don't want to see the same thing happen that does happen at some of the Comic Cons where you have a section where it's for comics, what have you, but then you see a lot of shows that have nothing to do with comics.
Yeah.
It's more entertainment.
Yeah, I don't want that. I want it to be about what it's about.
Exactly. As much as I do enjoy seeing, things like that, I usually shy away from those because I'm there to actually look and see about the comics and find out what's new. Go to Artist Alley, which is always my favorite part because you get to speak to the guys there, you get to buy their product, and you get to have a good time and see who's actually putting out that great work there for you. And you can find so many great things. You end up finding things that you weren't even aware of, like Genderized. We actually saw
Yes.
you saw that art, and it set your mind on fire.
Yeah, the art, like, I was sitting here talking to somebody over here, and out the corner of my eye, I saw the artwork for Genderized, and I couldn't stop looking at it. And
yes.
It was such inspiration. So I had to go over there and speak to the guy. I said, "Yo, fill me in on this product because this just looks amazing." And now they're on Comixology.
Exactly.
So.
And I know that I was late in doing it, but I actually bought it last week, and it's definitely something that I've gotten into a few pages. I have a lot of comics that I'm trying to read right now, especially doing digital. It makes it easier and harder both at the same time. But it's something that I have bought, and from what I've read, I'm very happy with it, and I know it's going to be a series that I'm going to be following until its end, and hopefully there won't be an end. But yeah, this is a great time for it. So comic book conventions have been great, but they have blown up a little much where they've actually gone off course, and there is a bit of too much of the entertainment field there that don't have anything to do with comics and don't respect it. Now I'm all for the evolution of the cons and knowing that you have to bring in some of the other elements, but there still is 90% comic books and comic book oriented projects.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of some extra stuff that was happening in New York.
Well, at New York, they had a booth for Person of Interest, which has nothing to do with any comic book. It's an interesting show. Jim Caviezel is a good actor. I enjoy him, but it had nothing to do with comic books. It could be a comic book, actually. That would be an interesting comic book. Taraji P. Henson, I'm glad to see her every week. I'm not going to lie. I will make her macaroni and cheese every week. I have no issue with her again. The thirst is real. The thirst is
Yeah, I see what you mean though. That was that is one thing that just seemed unrelated, and they just threw it in to get more people to be there. And I'm like,
exactly.
Don't attract those unnecessary fans. You want the fans of the work that are being supported there present. You don't want random people off the street. Oh, hey, I watched that show once when I was 8. No, man.
And it begins to water down what it's actually about. But again, it's 90% comics, so we're still very happy with them. But as I always say, don't forget what brought you to the dance. Don't forget your core audience, because once you do that, it diminishes the work, and it kind of just, we end up not being fans anymore, which is a sad point to have happen. But again, great comic book season. really looking forward to New York. Last year had an amazing time in Indie Alley.
Oh my, yes.
Definitely Indie Alley. Excuse me. Artist Alley. Well, technically it is kind of Indie Alley because you see a lot of. There's mostly indie guys there. You're not going to see, Jeff Johns there.
I knew the name was going to drop eventually.
And if I do, woo! Anyway, I'm trying to be civil this show, but it is in a sense Indie Alley.
No, it is though.
And you see these great people there, and we had an amazing time there. I didn't think that we were gonna. I didn't think I was gonna spend a whole day there. We were there to open to when they said, "Hey, you guys, get out." No, seriously, get the hell out. All right, get the fuck out. Honestly, and we did that 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row.
Yeah, and that last day I was ready to just die somewhere.
But again, had a great time, amazing. I bought one of my favorite T-shirts there, and this year I'm coming for more T-shirts. I want to build up my collection because I want to be able to wear an indie T-shirt of a comic book every issue that we actually put out. I want to be able to wear one just so I can show support, But yeah, we're definitely gonna enjoy. Always do. New York, I love it, and I love the New York Comic Con. I've gone 4 times now, I believe. Yes, 4 times. I've actually been 4 times.
I think this will be my 4th year. I think either 3rd or 4th year this time.
So then this one would be my 5th year, and I know it started. It started maybe less than 10 years ago. I want to say in New York.
Yeah.
I want to say it hasn't been there that long. No, it hasn't been there that long. But it's definitely a welcome park. It's beautiful when you on the train and you know who's going because you see them dressed up.
Oh my god, yeah.
As
didn't we bump into the guys from Comic Book Men last time when we were getting on the train?
Those were actually the guys that actually run Asbury Park Comic Con. But one of them, I forget the gentleman's name. He's actually on Comic Book Man quite often. And I had a conversation with him about Marvel not doing a Black Panther movie. He hadn't heard about that. So it was kind of cool for me to introduce something to someone who's in the industry that they didn't know anything about. So that was kind of cool, and I had my little rant about that in public in Red Bank on the train. And you know what? I was happy to say because there are black superheroes in the jungle. Not fighting, big flies and swatting themselves and whatnot, selling fake Rolexes in Times Square. There are black superheroes.
Is that a superpower, selling fake Rolexes?
Apparently.
Oh my god.
So stay tuned. We're going to be right back after these words from one of our many, many sponsors. Welcome back to Off the Shelf. With
Episode 1.
Yes, issue 1.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. I'm Antonio.
Yeah, that's Antonio.
This dude over here, he be Ryan Brown.
We just finished up talking about some Comic-Con stuff going on, San Diego, Asbury, New York. What were we
Well, we were talking about, everything that's coming up and what we're hoping to see. And there's a new book that Marvel's going to be coming out with in September, which is going to be called Mighty Avengers. Now, this is something a little different in the fact, as far as the big 2 go, in the fact that it's going to be a mostly black team. Yes.
They didn't.
Negroes, ladies and gentlemen. Negroes in comics.
They exist.
Yes, they do. So, it's going to be a team headed by Monica Rambeau, who's going to be called Spectrum. She's had about 10 aliases so far. It almost makes me think that in her past, she had warrants. Honestly. They've given her way too many aliases. But she used to actually be a cop in New Orleans.
And that's how she knows how to get rid of the warrants. I change my name and hop states.
But she's a character that they really haven't used very well, except in Next Wave, which was a great book written by Warren Ellis. It was a great book, very funny, a lot of action, blowing up stuff all over the top. And it made me an even bigger fan of hers because I do like her as a character because she's just a very strong black woman, a cop, and she has this amazing power to use all of the spectrums of light as a weapon. which is very cool. And she's going to be leading this team. On the team also is Luke Cage. There's going to be White Tiger, Ava Ayala. There's going to be Power Man, who is Victor Alvarez. He's actually taking over the name that Luke Cage used to use. Superior Spider-Man, who is Doc Ock Spider-Man.
I
don't read Marvel, so what I get is from articles that I read in. That's Doc Ock Spider-Man. She-Hulk, yes, is going to be part of it, and the Falcon. It's a very interesting mix. I got it. Yes. There's something wants to come out of your mouth.
No, not at all.
Are you sure?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm straight. But weren't there rumors the Falcon was going to be in the new Cap movie? As
His butler.
That's exactly good. But yes, that's exactly.
So this title is coming out, and it brings to account that, did you know on this title, at one time there weren't any black comic book writers. So if you had a black character, it was written by white people.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't saying that white people cannot write black characters well. They can. But you write more what you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's almost like they're saying, oh, well, one of my best friends is white. I could say that. One of my best friends is white. And it would sound stupid coming from me. But there's something that you would hear from white people a lot, saying, oh, well, one of my best friends is black. Really? Where? Oh, Jimmy. You mean your chauffeur? Yeah, we're real good friends. I know all about his family. But it's just funny because they hired no black writers. No, I don't believe there's even a female writer on the title. If I recollect correctly, and I believe I do.
I didn't see the lineup, so I can't comment.
Yeah, and it just brings to the fact of, yes, they're doing this book. I believe it's the first thing from the big two that has a mostly black superhero team since The Crew.
Well, I mean, my boys over at my place don't do it ever, so I mean, yeah, it must be the first time. I'm not saying no names or nothing.
I'll say it. By his place, he means DC. That's a whole other rant all into itself, and believe me, that will come up in a future show. Don't worry. Best believe I got that burning in my heart already. But The Crew was the other one that was written by Christopher Priest, I believe, who has done Quantum and Woody, and also Black Panther. And it's just, there's a very huge lack of diversity in comics. Let's just go down to brass tacks. As far as the big two go. And there's a lot of, what would be the term? Screw it, I'm not going to look for a pretty term for it. And it doesn't happen a lot. There are a lot of writers that will go in, and I've heard this from numerous writers that I've read articles from, that I've heard testimony from, who have said, I had an idea, pitched it, what have you, went in to see them, and they're like, no, next.
I've read those same articles actually because you've sent them all to me. I've seen all of them as well. I agree.
I don't want to be the only person who reads this and go, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. And for the longest time, most of the characters that you see are straight white men or straight white women. Or they're bisexual women who are going to fulfill the fantasy of that straight white male character. In the last couple years, I've actually opened my eyes to it more and seen a lot more. That's why I stay away from the big two more and I go to indie comics because they do show more diversity. Not just on the pages, but also in their hiring practices, where you will see more, you will see more characters of color, sexual orientation. We're not even going to talk about OSC right now. I'm not going there. I'm not going there right now. Gail Simone has already said it in the way that I would love to say it, except I would have used many more expletive words before what she said. But it's just that, yes.
I was just going to go on when we were talking about diversity in comics and hiring practices.
Yes.
One of the articles you sent me a while back, they were, somebody posed a question, how come there are so few, I'll say black characters for sake of arguments, but any minority, doesn't matter.
Right.
And what the comic company that they were speaking to claimed was there weren't enough writers of that ethnicity in order to support that. And just to me, that was funny because I was just thinking, like, when we go down Artist Alley, that's all I see is just...
you see a huge melting pot. You see male and female, black, Latino, Asian. You can't. There's just this whole great mix of individuals. But when you're on the main floor and you're at the Big Two's booth, what do you see?
It's all the same. It's everywhere you look.
Only person I see that isn't white is Jim Lee. That's the only dude that I see. And you never see him drawing Asian characters.
Which ones would he be drawing? How many? Who would he be drawing?
He could create one. I mean, the only one I can think of, the only Asian characters I can think of since
Lady Shiva, actually.
Lady
She
Shiva
exists somewhere.
Okay, yeah, exactly. The only ones I can think of are the Atom, who was. I don't remember his. I don't remember because there have been a couple of different Atoms. I don't remember the Asian gentleman who was the Atom at the time. I don't remember his name because I don't read DC comics.
I don't think it's him anymore though. And the
No,
new
it's
Earth
not,
2
no.
stuff, it's not.
It's not, no. Which is a whole other thing because the whole reboot of DC destroyed a lot of characters that were beloved.
A lot of people pissed off about that.
And a lot of characters that had diversity, and they got rid of them. But I don't ever see Jim Lee could come up with a new character. The only two characters I know are the Atom, the Asian one, and there was a character from a comic that I actually did like, and it was the last DC thing I bought, and it was about 2 or 3 years ago, which was Rush City. He was an Asian firefighter who ended up being like a private detective, which I actually liked. It was a miniseries. It had a cameo by Black Canary.
Yes.
But it didn't have any of the superheroes in it. You didn't see Superman flying above. You didn't see Batman beating up a homeless,
Just being mad in the shadows.
talking about I am justice, I am the night. Whatever. Looking for Joe Chill or whoever he thinks killed his Jack Napier, whoever killed his parents, whatever. But it's just a sad state of affairs.
They have Katana as well. I want to throw out a third person.
They do have her now?
She's in Birds of Prey. I'm only on issue 6, but she was present in issue 6.
But, I mean, Marvel, to have this largely, mostly black superhero group, and to not have a black writer on it doesn't make any sense. Not saying that you have to have, but honestly, if you want more diversity in comics, you have to have writers that are more, you have to have a more diverse writing staff. You can't just have it. You want all of our money, but you're not representing us. And that's kind of backwards. You know what I mean? You're looking for everyone's money, whether they're black, white, Asian, Cherokee, Eskimo, Portuguese. What was Tiger Woods before he had the affair and he was just black?
I was to say, did his ethnicity change?
It did after the affair. It was just like Kabla Asian, whatever. They want all of our money, straight LGBT, whatever your particular group is, but they don't want to represent us all. And I don't think that's really making any sense. You know what I mean? And you can, so like I said, at one time there weren't a lot of black comic book writers. There weren't. Now, on my friends list alone on Facebook,
seriously,
I can show you these amazing writers, and they can do the work.
I wish I still had the picture from Artist Alley so I could show the sea of people that were down there. Remember that day we went and you literally couldn't walk?
Yes, because it was just a sea of true comic book fans and people who just wanted to read great work, see great art, and it was like a melting pot. It was honestly a melting pot of it, and to not see it, I don't understand why. It's like they'll run. So you'll hire a guy who is known to be a raging homophobe, but you won't hire a black writer to create or write a book. Or what you'll do is you'll have a book that has a minority cast, but this is what you'll do.
Kill them all.
You'll put your well, that comes after the 5th issue, because there's something that I believe Dwayne McDuffie came up with the term, or Jeffrey Thorne, or Brandon Easton, I'm not sure, but I believe it was Mr. McDuffie who came up with this rule of 3, where it's if you see more than 3 black characters on something, it automatically becomes a black product. If you see more than 3 black characters in a TV show, it automatically becomes a black TV show. If you see 3 black characters in a movie, it automatically becomes a black movie. And it's almost like they have that fear of it. And
oh no.
Yes. Oh no, the Negroes have moved in town. Yes, our property value is going to go low. And it never made sense to me. I don't understand how that doesn't make sense. You'll hire someone who's a raging homophobe, but not a black writer, Asian writer. I don't understand that. And that was a really poor choice on DC's behalf. Now, I understand that people will want to separate art from the actual person. But if you look at how he actually wrote Hamlet over, it was I recently just read the article, just found it.
Just so you know, you didn't specify what you're speaking of.
Oh,
you may as well, since you're beating around the bush, you may as well let the world know.
Orson Scott Card, the writer of Ender's Game, which a lot of people
I loved the book.
Enjoyed.
15 years ago, was it?
I don't know because I didn't read it. And a lot of people love it. It's actually being made into a big time movie by Summit, starring Harrison Ford, Han Solo, the guy that actually did Shoot First. And great. But he has had statements. He actually belongs to a group that basically says it is basically just against homophobia. That is basically against homosexuals, LGBT community in general. So
he just doesn't want anybody else to be happy.
Okay. It's a man and a woman. It's whoever you fall in love with. As long as it's not a dog or a squirrel, I'm cool, man. Don't worry about it. And so they'll hire him because he was hired to do a Superman title. The Adventures of Superman.
I think it was Adventures of Superman. Right. But just real quick, I don't know if that was actually hired or I don't know, was that freelance or did they say, hey, we want you to come and do it? I don't know the difference, first off, but I'm just... You're very right.
Just
in general.
You're completely right, Michael. He was supposed to do it in whatever capacity he was doing. And the outrage just was heaped upon DC.
I think one of the artists ended up leaving for that reason, right?
I believe so,
I'm pretty sure I read an article where the artist said, yeah, I don't want that bad publicity. I don't really support what he's saying. I'm going to go my way, find somebody else to do it. If I recall correctly, that's what happened.
And I give him credit for doing that because a lot of people would have just stuck it out and went with the money, where he had the wherewithal and the integrity to say, no, I'm not going to do this. And that's cool. And Gail Simone has been very vocal about it. She's a huge proponent.
Follow her on Facebook, guys.
I follow her on Facebook, Twitter. She's just she's a breath of fresh air to me. And she's the only thing that I would actually pay attention to in DC, to be honest with you. But DC has had a horrible track record with these things within the past entire run of their books. But it's just
I think it was since around last Comic-Con.
But it's just been made more public lately.
Yeah.
There's always been this boys club, only of straight white males. And you're starting to see a little bit of breaking into it, but not much. The head of, I believe, DC's entertainment, of DC's animated division now, I believe, is black. I remember reading an article about that.
You recall a name? Because I might know if I hear a name, but I don't remember the guy's name.
I don't remember the art because it just actually came to my head now. But that's the animated, and their animation has always been better than their comics.
Oh,
I'll pitch it into their animation, but not their comics. But it doesn't make any sense to me. And if you want more people's money, go with more diverse product. Hire more diverse writers so they can write that more diverse product so it will sell more, especially to everyone, and then you'll end up getting more money. So win-win situation. You get more money, we get more diversity, but you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to give me scraps and crumbs off your table. I'm going to go somewhere where they're making the meal that I like, and it tastes pretty damn good.
These metaphors are just so deep.
Here's the thing. Now, I don't mean to get off on a rant here, but indie comics just, within the last couple of years that I've really been showing and paying attention to them, have shown more diversity, more depth of character, more story evolution, better quality than what's going on in the big two. You've been doing more flash than substance, and I think you need to stop. You've been paying attention too much to Hollywood and what's going on with your bottom line. Now, I do realize that you are corporations, and that is your goal, is to make money. I got no problem with that. Everybody needs money because, well, rent's due, cable is expensive, and we all got cell phones, and you need clean draws. Cool with that.
In that order.
Not necessarily, but clean draws. I don't know. Well, actually, rent is more important than clean draws because you can leave the house without draws on. So, okay, cool. And you're going more towards the Hollywood thing, and you want to appease them. I'm seeing more of the comics following movies than following what's going on that's been going on in the storyline with these soft reboots. Now there's supposed to be a whole new reboot because of the Age of Ultron, which if you fall back on alternate dimensions or time travel, it's because you know your story was crap to begin with. Now, I'm going to get down off my high horse. I'm going to put the horse in the damn barn. And I'm just going to say, when you don't make more diverse comics, people leave the product.
It's a fact.
Now, I know I'm living proof, and I know I can show you a list of individuals who have said no more, and they've left. Now, excuse me, I know, again, corporations, it's their point to make money. That is it. They don't have to worry about being nice or what have you. They'll make money. That's all they're worried about. But when you forget that, hey, black people have money too, Asian people have money, Latino, LGBT, other groups besides their straight white male, and those fanboys, which is going to be another rant and another time.
Another day.
You're losing money in essence, and we're leaving, and we're going to indies. In my opinion, Image is putting out amazing work. Valiant
That's a fact.
has had a resurrection better than Jesus Christ. Dark Horse is coming out with more superhero books. Yes.
that Valiant thing, I mean, respect to Valiant and all that, but Jesus?
They had a pretty good... They were dead longer than...
But Jesus?
Jesus was dead for 3 days. They came back after how many years? That's actually a pretty good resurrection. I mean, I don't mean to offend anybody's religion, but that was a pretty awesome resurrection. Let's be clear on that.
Card's gonna be mad at us now, watch.
Yeah, he doesn't like me because my uncle was gay, so who cares? I say it was because he died. He didn't stop being gay and decided, hey, I like women. No, he died. And he was one of the greatest men I could have ever possibly known. So Card...
I didn't mean to start another rant.
No, so Card can just stick it and go sit in the corner somewhere.
I was just trying to lighten up the mood and interject.
No, but... Again, no disrespect to religious individuals,
Jesus.
but that was a damn good resurrection by a Valiant. You gotta be honest. They were dead longer than that. And there are other companies that are coming out. Excuse me. Vertigo, unfortunately, is still part of DC, but I believe they're creator-owned. I like their work, but I know that they've had a comeback of late.
Yeah,
but
everything,
it's different. I don't like it now.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen any Vertigo titles that seem to be watered down by their parent company.
Yeah, I know that, you know, I don't know what's going on. I'm not reading it anyway. But the point being is that we leave. We go to other companies. Strictly Underground, Freestyle Comics, Urban Style Comics, Aspen, Archaea, Arcana, Boom. Actually, Boom purchased Archaea, I believe, which is a phenomenal thing. I can't really see what they're going to be coming up with. There's Dynamite. There's Kid Monster Comics. There's Pyroglyphics, Sean Allen stuff.
Yes.
Thrillbent, Jeffrey Thorne. So we leave. We go to other places and we get better product that shows. And I'm not just saying I just want an all-black comic book. I want a comic book that reflects
has realistic
society.
Yeah, like
and everybody, black, white, straight, lesbian, gay, Eskimo, Guatemalan sword fighter. I don't care. They just give everybody their stuff. You know what I mean? It's not that difficult.
It's the second time you mentioned Eskimos.
Is it really?
It is.
Never did an Eskimo.
Never met an Eskimo in my life.
Never did an Eskimo until now. So that's just the bottom line to me. You know, put it out there. But again, I'm not going to beg you. You guys are digging your own hole, and you're going to fall and not be able to get out. All right. So this is the end of the show. At the end of the show, we actually just like to give.
Let's do a commercial break real quick.
You want to do a commercial break?
Yeah, let's take a little pause.
Do I need to
catch some fresh air, get a little sip of water? We'll be back in 5, guys.
The water. Welcome back to Off the Shelf. At this point in the show, we're going to try and make this to be one of our staples, where we're going to talk very quickly about a comic that we like. It'll be our pick of the week, the show, what have you. Just a very quick thing we'll do. They can be new or old comics, not necessarily new ones or old, or just something that we like that we just want to show you. Maybe you read it, maybe you didn't. Might show you something new.
If you did, let us know if you agree with us. Let us know how you feel. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. Let us know so we can, compare ideas, I guess. You want to go first?
You go ahead, because your book is great.
All right. So another recommendation by this gentleman, Greek Street, Vertigo title. It's fairly new. How old is it?
Maybe a couple of years old.
Yeah,
Let's have the stamp in the front should be.
I don't want to look for the copyright, but I'm going to do all that. It doesn't matter how old it is, guys. You have the internet. Greek Street. Basically, it's a modern retelling of a lot of the Greek tragedies. Of course, stories overlap, but it's really interesting. Like I said, it's modern day, so you're not nobody walk around the togas and all that. But
there is nudity.
Yeah, tons of nudity, tons of violence, cursing. This is definitely rated mature for adults and up.
Right. So this is adults and up. What's higher than
just dead grand adults. I don't know. But check it out. We got a little. What is it? So the Furies make an appearance. There's some Oedipus, Fates. Who else is in here?
All the greats really that you know from like Greek
tragedies.
Yeah, tragedy.
This is volume 1. If I understand correctly, I think there's 4 volumes.
4? No, there's 3. There's 4.
3 or 4. There's 3 or 4. I only own the first one. I plan on picking up the rest very soon. I'm hoping Comixology picks them up soon. But it's definitely a great title. Like I said, it's very adult oriented, but story's great.
And that's Greek Street from Vertigo. My pick, excuse me, is going to be Hack Slash from Image. I'm a horror film fan, and I like leading women in comic books. They're always cool. This mixes the genre. In horror movies, there's always that final girl, the girl that actually is the one who saves her, who actually kills the beast or puts down the monster, what have you. This is the story of Cassie Hack, who is that final girl in every movie, and how she ends up turning the tables and she starts hunting those slashers, the monsters, the killers, all of them. She has a sidekick who is actually a former slasher, monster, what have you, himself. Definitely like it. I believe the series is actually over now, but I believe they do crossovers with, I believe there's a title in Dynamite, might be Vampirella, I'm not sure. But I believe the series is over now, but they do have it in the omnibus. This is omnibus number 1. You probably can't see the number, but just take my word for it. Good stuff. I like it. Great art. Something different. Definitely a pick that I would like.
And I think they are present on Comixology, if I understand correctly, right? There are some
I believe so, yes. But I was lucky enough to be able to find all 4 of them at a local bookery. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. A local bookery, and definitely been happy with it. So that's Hack Slash from Image.
Greek Street.
From Vertigo. That's our time. We want to say thank you very much to our guests, us, and the great interviews that we did with us. Maybe one day that will change and we'll have some interviews from some of the people that we actually talk about and that we're fans of. So again, thank you very much. Any interaction you want to give, comments, we actually have a page on Facebook, off the shelf, excuse me. Just started up. Comments, questions, anything.
Yeah, give us a like and reach out to us. Let us know what you think.
We're more than willing to interact with people. I love being a victim. So, as always.
And I'm out. I'm Ryan. I'm out on that note.
This is Ryan. I'm Antonio. And once again, this has been Off the Shelf. Thank you very much and have a great whatever time it is, wherever you're at.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye.